The warning before the acceleration. Listen carefully, because timing is everything right now. In less than 24 hours, a switch flips. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, energetically. Tomorrow afternoon, something moves in the sky that triggers a chain reaction inside your body, your mind, and your life. And when it happens, everything speeds up so fast that most people won't even understand what hit them until they're already behind. Right now, before that shift, you might feel wrong in ways you can't explain. Heavy, foggy, disconnected from your own momentum. You wake up tired even after sleeping. Your thoughts feel thick, like they're moving through mud. Motivation disappears, not because you're lazy, but because something unseen is pressing the brakes on your entire system. It's like you're stuck in a holding pattern, while the world keeps moving without you. And if you've been judging yourself for that, stop. Because this isn't weakness, it isn't failure, and it definitely isn't random. This is the pause before impact. What you're experiencing right now is the final compression of an energy cycle that has been slowing you down on purpose. The universe doesn't slam the accelerator without warning. First, it forces stillness. First, it drains the excess. First, it strips you down until movement feels impossible. That exhaustion you feel, that mental fog, that sense of being suspended in time, it's preparation. Most people never realize this. They think something is wrong with them. They try to push harder, force clarity, force productivity, and all they do is burn themselves out fighting an invisible current. But you're here because you sensed something wasn't normal. Because deep down, you know this moment matters. And it does, because tomorrow, when the moon crosses into Aries, the energy doesn't gradually change, it snaps. One moment, you're underwater. The next, you're launched forward. This is not a gentle transition, it's energetic whiplash. The kind that leaves people impulsive, reactive, aggressive, or frozen, depending on whether they know how to handle it. And the next 48 hours after that shift, they are not neutral time. They are not background days. They are decision-forming hours. What you choose to do or not do during that window sets the trajectory for everything that follows. This is why most people miss their breakthroughs. Not because the opportunity never comes, but because when it arrives, they don't recognize it. They feel restless and don't know why. They feel pressure and think it's anxiety. They feel urgency and waste it on distractions. They'll start arguments over nothing. They'll make impulsive moves that don't align with their future. Or worse, they'll freeze, hesitate, and let the moment pass. And once this window closes, it doesn't reopen the same way. That's the part no one tells you. This energy doesn't repeat itself on demand. It comes, it activates, it moves on. And the people who move with it step into entirely different timelines than the ones who don't. You might already feel the contradiction building inside you. Exhausted, yet restless. Stuck, yet vibrating underneath. Like something inside you is pacing, waiting for permission to run. That's not imagination. That's your nervous system sensing what's coming before your conscious mind catches up. Your body always knows first. Your cells register shifts before logic can explain them. Right now, your entire system is being rewired for speed. And if you don't understand what's happening, that speed can turn into chaos. But if you do understand it, if you prepare for it, if you meet it consciously, it becomes momentum, the kind of momentum that breaks patterns you've been stuck in for years, the kind that pushes you into action before fear has time to talk you out of it. This is why the heaviness had to come first. You cannot feel acceleration without contrast, You cannot experience clarity without confusion beforehand. You cannot activate courage without first confronting inertia. The slowdown wasn't a punishment, it was a wind-up. And tomorrow afternoon, that tension releases. But before we talk about what happens next, before we break down exactly how the next 48 hours unfold, you need to understand one thing clearly. Nothing about this moment is accidental. You're not watching this by coincidence. You're here because part of you already knows that something is ending, and something powerful is about to begin. Stay with me, because once the switch flips, there is no rewind, only movement forward. The fog, the weight, and why it had to happen. Before anything accelerates, everything dissolves. That's the rule most people don't understand. Right now, you're standing in the final hours of an energetic phase, designed to blur, soften, and exhaust you. Not to break you, but to empty you. And emptiness is dangerous, only if you don't know what's coming next. The reason everything feels slow, emotional, confusing, and unproductive right now isn't because you've lost direction. It's because direction was temporarily removed on purpose. The moon is finishing its passage through the last degrees of Pisces, the ending of the ending. This isn't gentle Pisces energy anymore. This is saturation. This is emotional overexposure. This is being submerged so deeply that even your own thoughts echo. Pisces doesn't move forward in straight lines. It loops, it dissolves. It pulls old memories, unresolved feelings, forgotten fears, and half-healed wounds back into awareness. That's why time has felt strange. That's why days blur together. That's why motivation vanished even though nothing is technically wrong. And layered on top of that, there's pressure. Restriction colliding with illusion. Weight mixed with confusion. One part of you feels held down. Another part feels lost. That combination is brutal on the nervous system. It creates exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. It creates mental fog that caffeine can't cut through. It creates the sense that you're stuck behind invisible glass, watching life but unable to fully engage with it. But here's the truth most people never hear. This state exists to slow you down before speed arrives. The universe doesn't slam you into motion from a scattered, overextended state. First, it collapses the excess. First, it quiets the noise. First, it forces you inward. That heaviness you've been carrying, it's compression, like a spring being pushed down, like a slingshot being pulled back. The more resistance you've felt during this phase, the more force is being stored. Your body knows this. That's why the symptoms haven't been purely emotional. They've been physical. Head pressure that comes and goes, sudden waves of heat or chills, strange appetite changes, interrupted sleep, a restless tension under the fatigue. This isn't random discomfort. Your system is recalibrating. You are moving from mutable water into cardinal fire, from absorption into initiation, from feeling everything to doing something about it. That kind of transition isn't abstract. It's biological. Water energy makes you porous. You absorb other people's moods, other people's expectations, other people's timelines. Fire energy seals you. It defines edges. It creates direction. It projects force outward instead of pulling everything in. Your nervous system cannot jump between those states without friction. So right now, it's slowing you down deliberately, reorganizing itself so it can handle what's coming next without short-circuiting. That's why you may feel disconnected from your usual identity. Like the old version of you isn't working anymore, but the new version hasn't fully arrived. That limbo is uncomfortable, but it's also sacred. Because this is where old emotional attachments loosen their grip. This is where outdated reactions dissolve. This is where your tolerance for what no longer serves you quietly expires. And here's the key thing to understand. If this fog weren't happening now, the speed coming next would overwhelm you. Instead of clarity, you'd feel panic. Instead of momentum, you'd feel chaos. This slowdown is the buffer. It's the decompression chamber before launch. Tomorrow, when the moon leaves Pisces and enters Aries, it won't ask how you feel about it. The shift will happen. And suddenly, the same person who couldn't find motivation will feel urgency. The same mind that felt confused will snap into clarity. The same body that felt heavy will want to move. But if you don't understand what you're stepping out of right now, you'll misinterpret what comes next. You'll think the acceleration is anxiety. You'll think the urgency is impulsiveness. You'll think the pressure is something to suppress. It's not. It's activation. And this fog you're in right now, it's the final moment you're allowed to be slow. Because once the energy shifts, hesitation becomes costly. In the next part, I'm going to explain why this particular moon in Aries isn't just about speed, but about conflict, choice, and a decision that cannot be delayed. Stay with me, because what comes next forces action, whether you're ready or not. The conflict point, where choice becomes inescapable. This is where everything stops being theoretical. Tomorrow is not just a shift in energy, it's a confrontation. When the moon enters Aries, it doesn't do so quietly. It collides, head-on, with the sun in Capricorn. And that collision creates a pressure most people feel but can't name. This phase is called the first quarter moment for a reason. It is the point where intention meets resistance, where desire clashes with responsibility, where momentum demands commitment. You'll feel it as inner conflict. One part of you wants to move, now, to act, to speak, to initiate. Another part wants to slow down, to be careful, to stay controlled, to avoid risk, and you won't be able to satisfy both. This tension is not accidental, it's engineered. The sun in Capricorn represents the structure of your life, the long-term plan, the expectations, the obligations, the version of you that thinks in years instead of moments. It is discipline, strategy, endurance. The moon in Aries doesn't care about any of that. It cares about truth in the moment. It cares about instinct. It cares about action that can't wait for permission. When these two forces lock into a square, the universe creates a standstill on purpose. You feel blocked, pressured, impatient, like something must be decided, but no option feels completely safe. That's because this energy is not here to make you comfortable. It's here to make you choose. Not later, not after more clarity, not once everyone else is on board. Now. The next 48 hours are not about small decisions, they're about direction. Under this energy, choices don't just change circumstances, they change trajectories. You're not picking between options, you're selecting a timeline. And once you move, the energy doesn't rewind to let you test the other path. That's why this moment feels intense. That's why hesitation feels heavier than action. Your system knows something permanent is at stake. This is where most people sabotage themselves. They feel the pressure and interpret it as stress. They feel the urgency and call it anxiety. They feel the friction and assume they're doing something wrong. So they retreat. They wait. They tell themselves they'll decide later. But under first quarter energy, waiting is a decision. And it's usually the wrong one. Because this phase is designed to reward movement, not certainty. You are not meant to have the full picture yet. You are meant to take the next step anyway. That's why this moment feels like an argument inside your own chest. Future, you is demanding progress. Present, you is demanding relief. And neither will back down. This is the crossroads. Not a dramatic one with flashing signs and clear answers, but a quiet internal one where the only signal is pressure. The universe is asking a single question. Are you going to act from habit or from intention? And here's the part most people underestimate. The decision you make under this energy doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. A message sent, a boundary set, a project started, a situation ended. Small action, massive consequence. Because under first quarter pressure, motion locks direction. Once you move, resistance reshapes itself around your choice. That's why this moment demands clarity, but not perfection. If you're feeling unsure right now, that doesn't mean you're lost. It means you're standing exactly where you're supposed to be. And if you need confirmation, real confirmation, on which direction aligns with you, this is the window to seek it. That's why support matters now, not later. Because after this phase passes, the energy shifts from choosing to executing. And by then, the path you're on is already set. In the next part, I'm going to explain why this Aries energy isn't reckless like people assume, and why the force driving it right now is disciplined, strategic, and far more intelligent than it looks. Stay with me, because once you understand what's actually in control here, fear loses its grip, and action becomes unavoidable. The hidden commander and the 48-hour power surge. Here's where most people get this energy completely wrong. They hear moon in Aries and assume chaos, recklessness, impulse without direction. That would be true if this were a normal Aries activation. It isn't. Behind the scenes, something far more controlled is in charge. The force driving this acceleration isn't raw fire. It's disciplined fire. The ruler of Aries is not acting alone right now. It's positioned in a place that transforms instinct into strategy, urgency into execution, and impulse into command. This is not the energy of a soldier running forward without thinking. This is the energy of a general issuing orders. And when this kind of authority is behind your actions, things move fast, but not blindly. That's why the urges arriving now feel different. They don't feel chaotic, they feel specific. A sudden knowing, a clear do this now, a push toward one action instead of 10 scattered ones. You may not be able to explain why you feel compelled to move in a certain direction, but that doesn't make it random. It makes it precise. This is executive override energy. When it activates, the conscious mind no longer leads, it follows. And if you try to slow this down, analyze it to death, or demand full certainty before moving, you won't feel safer. You'll feel frustrated. Because this energy is not asking for permission, it's asking for cooperation. Now let's talk about the next 48 hours, because timing is everything here. The moment this shift happens, you'll feel a spark. At first, it's subtle, a sense of clarity where there was confusion, an urge to take action where there was hesitation, a sudden intolerance for delay. Within hours, it becomes unmistakable. Your body wants movement. Your mind starts generating solutions instead of doubts. Your patience for what drains you drops to zero. This is launch energy. Whatever you initiate during this first surge sets the tone for the entire cycle. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it has to be deliberate. Later that same day, resistance appears. Not because you're wrong, but because momentum has been detected. Obstacles, second thoughts, external pushback, old fears resurfacing. This is the first quarter test. The universe applies friction to see if you're serious. Most people interpret this resistance as a sign to stop. It isn't. It's a calibration. This phase forces you to refine your commitment, to decide whether you're moving out of impulse or intention. If you push through without reacting emotionally, something shifts. The next day is where power peaks. Action becomes transformative. You're not just doing things. You're dismantling old patterns while building new ones. Every move you make carries weight. This is construction and demolition happening simultaneously. Energy levels rise. Confidence sharpens. Results appear faster than expected. But this is also where awareness matters. Unconscious action turns into aggression. Unchanneled urgency turns into conflict. The energy needs direction. Give it a task. Give it a target. Give it something productive to move toward. Because if you don't choose where it goes, it will choose for you. By the end of this surge, something internal breaks open. You realize that the speed wasn't just about achievement. It was about bypassing fear. Moving so fast that old wounds couldn't interfere. Acting before doubt could negotiate. That's when healing happens. Not through reflection, but through motion. And here's what makes this sustainable. The energy circulating now doesn't burn out the way impulsive fire usually does. Action feeds emotion. Emotion strengthens resolve. Resolve builds structure. Structure creates safety. And safety allows even more movement. This is why staying in motion matters. Not frantic motion, purposeful momentum. As long as you keep moving forward, the support keeps appearing. In the next part, I'm going to show you how to recognize whether you're flowing with this energy or fighting it, and why the difference determines which version of you exists on the other side of this window. Stay with me, because what comes next decides whether this surge becomes breakthrough or backlash. The timeline split and the point of no return. This is where everything converges. By now, the speed is undeniable. The pressure is real, and the sense that something irreversible is happening refuses to leave your body. That's because it is. The next 48 hours don't just move events forward, they separate futures. This is a timeline split. Not in a dramatic, cinematic way, but in a quiet, internal one, where choices harden into direction. Some people will move with this energy. They'll take the step they've been avoiding. They'll speak the truth they've been rehearsing in their head. They'll initiate what they've been postponing for months, sometimes years, and by the time this window closes, they'll already be living inside a different version of their life. Others will resist. They'll feel the same pressure, but misread it. They'll numb it. They'll distract themselves. They'll tell themselves tomorrow is safer than today. And when the energy passes, they'll feel the familiar weight return. Not because the universe punished them, but because they stayed in the same lane. This isn't judgment. It's mechanics. Acceleration without participation doesn't carry you. It passes you. Here's how you know which side you're on. If the energy is flowing through you, you'll feel focused urgency, not panic, direction. If you're fighting it, you'll feel agitation without action, irritation without progress, explosive emotion over things that don't actually matter. That's the signal. The energy needs movement. If you don't give it purpose, it looks for conflict. This is why preparation matters. Before the shift, clear your space. Physical clutter slows momentum. Old conversations anchor you to expired timelines. As the shift hits, be present. Notice the moment clarity arrives. The first impulse that feels clean, not emotional, not reactive. Act on that. Small action, immediate follow-through. That's how you set the cycle. Later, when resistance appears, don't retreat. That friction is not a stop sign. It's proof you're moving something. Push through consciously. One decisive move before rest. By the time this surge completes, something inside you recalibrates. You realize the speed wasn't about productivity. It was about bypassing fear, moving fast enough that old wounds couldn't negotiate. Acting before doubt could rewrite the script. This is how identity shifts. Not through thinking, through momentum. Ancient cultures understood this. They knew that cardinal fire moments were not for reflection. They were for initiation. Seeds planted under this energy didn't just grow. They claimed territory. And this window doesn't stay open. When it closes, execution replaces choice. Momentum replaces hesitation. And whatever path you're on becomes harder to change. That's why this moment matters. You don't need certainty. You need alignment. You don't need permission. You need courage in motion. The version of you that exists after this window will either look back and recognize this as the moment everything shifted, or wonder why nothing did. There is no middle ground here. So ask yourself honestly, are you ready to move at the speed of your potential? Or are you still trying to negotiate with your fear? Because the starting signal has already been given. The energy is already moving. The only question left is whether you move with it or watch it pass. If you're still here, it's because part of you already knows the answer. Choose, move, become.